Hey everyone, buckle up, because today we're taking a deep dive into the future of driving.
Yeah, get ready for some serious car tech talk.
That's right. We're talking about cars that are not just getting smarter, but potentially driving themselves.
We're diving deep into Qualcomm's latest announcement, their Snapdragon Elite platforms for vehicles.
It's all laid out in this fascinating article we've got, and believe me, this is way more exciting than just a simple software update.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, imagine stepping into a car that not only drives itself, but anticipates your every need.
Feels pretty sci-fi, right?
Totally.
Well, thanks to what Qualcomm is doing, that future might be closer than we think.
So this article highlights two platforms, the Snapdragon Cockpit Elite and Snapdragon Ride Elite.
Okay.
Just from the names alone, it sounds like they're packing some serious power, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Think of the Cockpit Elite as the brains behind all the cool stuff happening inside the car.
Oh,
Like your entertainment, your navigation, even how the car interacts with you.
makes sense.
And then the Ride Elite, that's focused on the tech that makes driver assistance features possible
Oh, I see.
and eventually autonomous driving.
So one is for the experience inside the car, and the other is how the car experiences the outside world.
That's a great way to put it.
I like to keep things simple.
Yeah.
The article mentions car manufacturers can actually choose to use these platforms separately or even combine them
Right.
on a single chip.
And that's a big deal for the industry
I can imagine.
because it offers so much flexibility. You could have a super high-tech car,
Right.
like a luxury sedan with this amazing digital cockpit and all the self-driving features, all powered by a single chip.
Wow.
That's incredibly powerful.
So we've got these two powerful platforms, but what makes them so elite?
Good question.
The article mentions Qualcomm's fastest CPU, the Oryon.
Right.
That's a key component. I'm guessing that's where a lot of the magic happens.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
The Oryon CPU is like the engine driving everything else. It provides all the processing power.
Needed to handle those complex tasks, like processing all that sensor data and creating a smooth digital experience in the car.
Exactly.
Now, the article also dives into the AI side of things
Okay.
and specifically mentions a 12x performance boost in the neural processing unit, the NPU, compared to their previous platforms.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
But so what does that actually mean for the person behind the wheel?
Imagine you're driving down the road and your car is not just aware of the cars around you, but also anticipating their movements,
Okay.
adjusting your speed, even suggesting lane changes
So it keeps you safe.
to keep you safe and moving smoothly. That's the kind of real-time responsiveness and intelligent decision-making this NPU boost makes possible.
So it's like having a co-pilot who's constantly looking out for you.
That's a good analogy.
But it's not just about safety, right?
No, not at all.
This article talks about personalized in-cabin experiences too.
That's right.
What does that look like?
Think about a car that knows your favorite music, your podcasts. Adjusts the temperature based on your preferences, maybe even predicts your destination
Wow.
based on your habits. That's the kind of personalization that Cockpit Elite with its boosted NPU can deliver.
So it's like the car becomes an extension of you.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I have to ask,
Yeah.
with all this data being processed, how do they ensure privacy and security?
That's such a crucial question.
Yeah.
And Qualcomm has addressed this by building robust security features into their platforms.
Okay.
It's like having a virtual vault
Protecting your data.
protecting your data, making sure it's only being used to make your driving experience better and not compromised in any way.
I like that.
They also have what are called safety island controllers,
Okay.
which act like a backup system in case any part of the main system has a malfunction.
So it's like a safety net for your car's brain.
Exactly.
All right. That's really reassuring.
Good.
Now let's talk more about the Snapdragon Ride Elite, the platform that's all about ADAS.
Okay.
That's advanced driver assistance systems. Things like lane keeping,
Uh.
adaptive cruise control,
Yep.
and of course it's designed for those autonomous vehicles too. What makes this platform so specialized for these tasks?
Well, the key here is something called low latency, high accuracy performance.
Okay.
Basically, it means the system can process information from the car's sensors incredibly quickly and accurately, which is super important.
So it's not just about having powerful chips.
No.
It's about how quickly and reliably they can react to the car's surroundings.
Yes, it's like having lightning-fast reflexes.
Exactly.
The Ride Elite is designed to handle a massive amount of data coming in from all those sensors, like cameras, radar, LiDAR, all at the same time,
Wow.
without missing a beat.
It's like having a superhuman level of awareness on the road.
That's a good way to put it.
But with so much happening at once, Wouldn't that drain the car's battery super fast?
That's a good question, but actually no.
Okay.
The Ride Elite is also incredibly power efficient. It has this heterogeneous architecture, meaning it can use different parts of the chip for different tasks.
I see.
So it only uses the power it needs when it needs it.
It's like having a brain that can multitask without getting tired.
Haha, that's a great analogy.
All this processing power has got to translate to a smoother, safer, and more enjoyable driving experience.
It really does.
For example, the Ride Elite can run multiple applications at the same time, right?
Yes.
Like basic safety features like automatic emergency braking
Right.
and more advanced features like traffic jam assist, all without any lag or performance issues.
That's right.
So while the car is keeping me safe, it can also be finding the best route and playing my favorite music.
Exactly. It's about seamless integration, creating a driving experience that's both intelligent and intuitive.
That's seriously impressive.
And we haven't even touched on the potential for things like hands-free driving.
Okay, now that's where it gets really futuristic.
Right.
I'm definitely intrigued, but also a little cautious.
Sure.
How far off is this technology really?
Well, some features are already available in certain cars, but the full potential of autonomous driving is still a few years out.
Okay.
But platforms like the Snapdragon Ride Elite are speeding up the development
Yeah.
and making it a much closer reality.
I'm starting to see why they call these platforms elite.
Yeah,
They're clearly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in a car.
absolutely.
It's not just about transportation anymore. It's about a whole new kind of experience.
Exactly. Qualcomm is essentially laying the foundation for the future of driving.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting to see how car manufacturers will build on this and bring these innovations to the market.
And speaking of innovations, this article goes into detail about how these platforms are designed to work with SDVs,
Okay.
software-defined vehicles,
Right.
which might leave some people wondering, what is an SDV?
It basically means that the car's functionality is mostly defined by software, not so much the hardware.
Oh, I see.
Think about it like this. With traditional cars, you're stuck with the features that were built in at the factory. But with SDVs, those features can be updated and upgraded over time, just like you update apps on your phone.
So it's like having a car that's constantly evolving and getting better,
Exactly.
even after you drive it off the lot.
Yeah, that's the idea.
No more being stuck with that outdated navigation system
Right.
or missing out on the latest feature.
Exactly. And the Snapdragon Elite platforms are designed to make that transition to SDVs even smoother.
Oh, that's great.
With their processing capabilities and flexible architecture, it's like giving car manufacturers a blank canvas to create and update features.
This is pretty mind-blowing.
It is pretty amazing.
It's like the line between a car and a computer is blurring.
It really is.
But let's not forget about the human element.
Of course.
How do these advancements impact the actual experience of driving?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Because these platforms aren't just about making cars smarter, they're also about making the driving experience safer, more efficient,
Yeah.
and even more enjoyable.
Okay. I am definitely hooked.
Good.
Let's dive into how these platforms change the game for the driver.
All right.
Where should we start?
Let's start inside the car
Okay.
with the Snapdragon Cockpit Elite.
Perfect.
It's all about transforming that cabin into a personalized, connected,
Yeah.
and highly entertaining space.
All right. I'm ready to buckle up and explore the future of in-cabin experiences.
Let's do it. All right, so let's step inside this car of the future
Ooh, I'm ready.
and really explore what the Snapdragon Cockpit Elite is all about.
Okay. I'm picturing, like, straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Holographic displays, voice-controlled everything.
Right.
Maybe even a robot butler serving up digital snacks.
Haha. Well, we might not be at the robot butler stage just yet,
Okay.
but the reality is still pretty impressive. The Cockpit Elite, it's all about creating this immersive, intuitive, in-cabin experience.
So it's making the car feel like an extension of your digital life.
That's the idea.
Okay, that sounds less like a spaceship and more like something I could actually see myself driving. So what are we talking about here? What kind of experience does this platform actually enable?
Think about a digital cockpit that's as responsive and visually stunning as your smartphone.
Oh.
The Cockpit Elite uses a supercharged Adreno GPU, which handles all the graphics. We're talking a 3 times performance boost compared to previous generations.
Wow, that's a huge leap.
It is. That means you could be enjoying console-quality gaming.
Hold on, console quality gaming in the car.
Yeah,
That changes everything for road trips. My kids would never want to get out.
I know, right?
But it's not just about entertainment, right?
No, it's about transforming the entire driving experience. Imagine a heads-up display
Okay.
that projects vital information right onto your windshield.
So you never have to take your eyes off the road.
Exactly. Or customizable instrument clusters that adapt to what you prefer.
So it's like a personalized dashboard that's always evolving.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like that. What about voice control? Is that part of this whole experience?
Absolutely. The Cockpit Elite is designed for that seamless voice interaction.
Imagine telling your car to adjust the temperature.
Right.
Or change the music, or even find you a parking spot, all hands-free.
Exactly. That's the goal.
That's what I call a smart car.
It's like having a personal assistant who's always there to help.
But with all these features running, wouldn't that overload the system?
Yeah, good point. But that's where the brilliance of the Cockpit Elite really comes in.
Okay, how so?
It uses something called an edge orchestrator, which is basically like a super efficient traffic cop for all the different AI features running.
Oh, so it's like having a dedicated AI manager that makes sure everything's running smoothly.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it.
What about privacy? I mean, with all this data about my preferences and habits, how do I know that's being kept safe?
That's a really important question, and Qualcomm has built in some robust security measures directly into the platform.
Okay,
It's like having a digital vault protecting your data.
that's good to hear.
Plus, a lot of the AI processing actually happens right on the chip itself, what we call on-device AI.
Oh, interesting.
So your data isn't constantly being sent to the cloud.
Okay, so it's like a personal data fortress right there in the car.
Pretty much.
That definitely puts my mind at ease.
Good, good.
But let's go back to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
The article mentions augmented reality features.
Right.
What does that even mean for the driver?
Imagine you're driving down the road and your navigation system not only tells you where to turn, but it actually overlays arrows and directions right onto your view of the road, almost like in a video game.
Wow.
Or imagine your car highlighting potential hazards
Okay.
or points of interest right in your field of vision.
Like having X-ray vision for the road.
It's pretty close.
But with all these high-tech features, wouldn't these cars be super expensive?
That's a good question, but not necessarily. One of the advantages of the Cockpit Elite is its flexibility and scalability. So car manufacturers can pick and choose which features they want to include.
So it's like a menu of options that car makers can choose from. Okay.
I like that.
To create the perfect experience for their customers.
But speaking of choices, let's switch gears for a second and talk about that Snapdragon Ride Elite platform.
Yeah, let's do it.
The one focused on making cars safer and eventually able to drive themselves.
Right.
What sets this platform apart?
The Ride Elite is a whole other beast. It's focused on processing massive amounts of data from the car's external sensors
Okay.
to enable those advanced driver assistance systems and autonomous driving.
Right.
And one of the key innovations here is the use of N10 transformers for AI processing.
End-to-end transformers.
Yeah, it sounds pretty technical,
It does.
but think of the car's AI as like a super fast brain.
Okay.
These transformers are like the thought processes, allowing it to understand everything around it instantly and make smart decisions.
So they can process all that information from cameras, radar, LiDAR, and other sensors? Yes, with incredible speed and accuracy.
Wow.
So the car can react to changing road conditions in real time.
It's like having a superpowered autopilot
Right.
that can see everything and anticipate what's going to happen next.
Exactly. And that ability to anticipate is key to making autonomous driving safe and reliable.
The Ride Elite is constantly analyzing the driving environment, identifying potential hazards, and making split-second decisions
That's right.
to keep everyone safe.
Exactly.
This is amazing. But again, with all that processing power, wouldn't that just drain the battery?
You would think so, but no. The Ride Elite is incredibly energy efficient, thanks to its heterogeneous architecture.
Wait, we've heard that term before.
We have.
Remind me.
It means it can use different parts of the chip for different tasks, so it only uses the power it needs when it needs it.
Okay, so it's like a brain that can multitask without getting tired.
That's a great way to put it.
Powerful, fast, and efficient. Sounds like the ultimate driving machine.
It's pretty close.
But with all this talk of autonomous driving, is this really the future? Will we all be riding around in self-driving cars soon?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
The truth is, the transition to fully autonomous driving is going to be gradual.
Okay.
We're going to see more and more of these driver assistance features,
Yeah.
paving the way for a future where cars can handle more driving tasks on their own.
So it's not like a switch that's just going to flip overnight.
No.
It's more of a gradual evolution.
Exactly, and platforms like the Snapdragon Ride Elite are accelerating that evolution.
making it safer and more enjoyable.
That's the goal.
Okay, I'm officially on board with this future.
Good.
But before we all start planning those self-driving road trips, let's talk a little bit about safety.
Of course, that's super important.
With so much reliance on technology, how do we know these systems are actually reliable?
It's a crucial question. And Qualcomm has built several safety features into the Ride Elite platform.
Like what?
Well, for example, it has a dedicated safety island controller. That acts as a backup system just in case the primary system has any issues.
So it's like that safety net for the car's brain,
Exactly.
just in case something unexpected happens.
Right, and it's not just about backups. It's about meeting the highest automotive safety standards.
Okay.
The Ride Elite, it adheres to ACLD.
Which is?
It's the most stringent safety certification for automotive systems.
Wow.
It means every component, every line of code has been tested to make sure it can handle even the most demanding situations.
That's really impressive.
It's all about making sure these systems are safe and reliable, but it's also about how they're implemented.
So it's a team effort.
It is. It's a collaboration between companies like Qualcomm
Right.
and the car manufacturers themselves.
Okay, so together they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly.
Wow, this has been an incredible journey into the future of driving.
It has.
And I'm feeling pretty optimistic about what's to come.
Good. Me too.
It's amazing that this technology is already being developed and will be in cars soon. It really is an exciting time.
And speaking of transformations, I think it's time we went back to that Snapdragon Cockpit Elite
Yeah, let's admit.
and explored those features that will change how we interact with our cars.
Absolutely. Let's dive a little deeper into those human-machine interactions.
Perfect. Okay, so we've talked about the brains of these platforms, but what about the senses?
You mean the sensors?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're a big part of it.
The article mentions they support a ton of sensors, like up to 20 high-resolution cameras.
That's a lot of cameras.
It's more cameras than a Hollywood film set. That's crazy.
It's true. These platforms are designed to take in a huge amount of information about the car's surroundings.
So it's not just about having cameras, it's about having the right kind of cameras and enough of them
Exactly.
to get a complete picture, right?
Think about it. For a car to drive safely, it needs to see everything a human driver sees, and more.
Makes sense.
That's where all these sensors come in.
So besides cameras, what else are we talking about?
Well, there's LiDAR.
Radar, ultrasonic sensors, you name it.
Wow, a whole suite of sensors.
Each type has its own strengths and weaknesses, so using a variety of them gives the car a much more detailed
An accurate understanding of its environment.
Exactly, even in tricky conditions like bad weather or low light.
Oh, that's important.
Very important.
It's like having multiple sets of eyes, each providing a different perspective.
That's a good way to think about it.
But it's not just about what's happening outside the car, right?
Right.
The article mentions in-cabin monitoring.
Yeah, that's becoming increasingly important too.
So what's that all about?
In-cabin monitoring is about understanding what's happening inside the vehicle,
Okay.
using sensors that can tell if the driver is drowsy or distracted,
And then,
alert them, or even take control of the car if necessary.
wow, that's a pretty amazing safety feature.
It is, especially considering how often driver fatigue is a factor in accidents.
But it also makes me think about privacy.
I understand.
If the car is monitoring me, what's it doing with that information?
It's a valid concern, and it's important to remember that these in-cabin monitoring features are primarily designed for safety.
Okay.
The data is used to make sure the driver is alert and paying attention,
Wait.
and sometimes it might be used to personalize the driving experience,
Oh, like how?
like adjusting the seat or the climate control based on your preferences.
That makes sense.
It's not about spying on the driver or collecting personal information without their consent.
Okay, good to know. It's reassuring that these features are being developed with safety and privacy in mind.
Absolutely.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something a bit more fun.
Okay. What did you have in mind?
Well, the article mentions that the Cockpit Elite has that significantly improved Adreno GPU,
Right.
which handles all the visuals, as you explained earlier.
Yes,
What
exactly.
does that mean for entertainment in the car?
Oh, it opens up a whole world of possibilities. Think about playing video games.
In the car.
Yeah, with console quality graphics
Wow.
or watching movies on super high resolution displays.
So it's like having a mobile entertainment center right there in the car.
Pretty much.
Road trips are about to get a whole lot more enjoyable.
I know, right? And it's not just about entertainment, it's also about enhancing the overall driving experience.
Like how?
Well, Imagine 3D navigation maps
Okay.
that are so detailed and realistic, it's like you're flying over the landscape.
That'd be amazing.
Or think about augmented reality features that overlay information onto your view of the real world.
So they could highlight points of interest.
Exactly, or warn you about potential hazards up ahead.
It's like having a co-pilot who's constantly giving you useful information,
That's a great analogy.
making the driving experience more engaging and intuitive.
Exactly.
With all these advancements, what would you say is the most transformative aspect of these Snapdragon Elite platforms?
That's a tough one, but I think it's the way they're blurring the lines between the physical and digital worlds.
Okay, elaborate on that.
Well, the card is no longer just a machine that gets you from point A to point B.
Right.
It's becoming an extension of your digital life.
I see.
It's a space where you can work, play, connect, relax, all while navigating the world around you safely and efficiently.
That's a great way to sum it up. The car is becoming a personalized, connected ecosystem, all powered by these sophisticated chips.
It's pretty incredible when you think about it.
It really is mind-blowing to think about how far we've come
Yeah.
and where we're headed.
The most exciting part is that we're really just scratching the surface of what's possible.
There's so much more to come.
Definitely. As AI and sensor technology continue to evolve, we can expect even more groundbreaking innovations in the years ahead.
Well, this deep dive has definitely left me feeling excited and inspired about the future of driving.
Me too.
To wrap things up, what's one piece of advice you would give our listeners as they navigate this rapidly changing automotive landscape?
I'd say embrace the change, stay informed, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Good advice.
The automotive industry is going through a major transformation, and it's up to all of us to be active participants in shaping that future of mobility.
Well said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Qualcomm's automotive AI leap.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure. We hope you've enjoyed this journey into the future of driving as much as we have.
I certainly have.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those wheels turning.